A couple of pieces of business before we introduce President White. Number one, I'd like to acknowledge Tara Feifler. Tara, I know you hate this sort of thing, but please stand. Tara wears many hats in the athletic department, but one of the responsibilities she's saddled with is overseeing the Hall of Fame selection committee to make sure that we're on time getting our duties done and then pulling all the details together, contacting those of you and your families who are being inducted, and you're tireless and you're very devoted, and we appreciate you so much. Would also like to thank the breakfast that we've had this morning. Loretta Bearden and the staff at Chartwell's, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and thank her in advance, but we'll be seeing some videos on each of our inductees, and they were developed and produced by Taylor Wiseman, and she's Director of Video Services. Taylor? Austin Peay is fortunate in many, many ways. I heard a couple of questions, well, how big is Austin Peay these days? And we're proud to say we are a growing university. We're at around 10,800 students and so. Our campus infrastructure and buildings and beauty and landscaping has never been better. We're on a roll. And that doesn't happen by itself. It takes great leadership, and we've been very blessed to have back-to-back presidents that have really handed off the baton in a very, very smooth manner. They've all had their own strengths, and our current president, Dr. Elisa White, she's a visionary. If you're unaware of it, Austin Peay has attained additional property that it needed, which is directly across College Street. If you know the lay of the land, it used to be Jenkins and Wynn Automotive Dealership, but that is now Austin Peay State University property. The bottom line is Dr. White and her administration sees this university growing to 15,000 or so students by 2025 or so. She's brings great energy, great vision, great leadership to the table, and certainly the success and the improvements that we're seeing throughout our athletic program can be highly attributed to the person at the top. So it's with great honor and privilege that I present to you Dr. Elisa White.
We're really happy to have you back on campus. Really excited to hear more about our honorees today. I love this university. I wasn't privileged to be here when you were here originally, but I got here as quickly as I could get here. And you know, the campus may have changed since you were here last. We were just approved for our first doctoral program that we'll be beginning to offer in the fall. It'll be a doctorate in educational leadership, and we're excited about that. We're working on our second doctorate, which would be a doctor of psychology with an emphasis in PTSD. We have a nursing program that people want to get into. It's so good. Our students do well in the NCLEX, and it is full. We're at capacity. The average GPA of the students getting into our nursing program is 3.7, which is pretty incredible. Our medical laboratory science program is also at capacity. I'm excited about that. We graduate more computer science students, undergraduate computer science students, than just about anybody in the state. We have the largest undergraduate physics program behind UT and Vanderbilt. And so I just wanted you to know that this is a high quality educational experience for our students. And I have learned a lot since I've been here. I'm in my 4th year. And one of the things that I have learned a whole lot more about since I've been here is athletics. I've always enjoyed being a fan. But you know what? I was one who enjoyed being a fan, but I didn't give back to athletics. I didn't know how hard you guys work. I had no idea. And now that I've been here and been privileged to see our students on the court, on the field, at the arena, at the course, and I see their practice, their dedication, The fact that they're taking our student athletes have a better GPA than our general student body. They work all the time. And they're the kind of students we graduate and people want to hire them because they're proven. They have a name. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about your university, about my university. And also I wanted to say thank you to the honorees because you help us with our brand. People follow you. They follow you now. And they followed you when you were here. And now we're standing on your shoulders with what you built. And our student athletes now are standing on your shoulders. And we'll have a Dunn Center that's going to be pretty full tonight, at least. But when I say full, I would say evangelistically speaking. My dad's a preacher, so I'll say it that way. But we're going to have a great crowd tonight. We're going to have a great crowd tonight because people support our athletes. And so I'm excited. Thank you for coming back to campus. Tara is in charge of this event, and the note I got from her was short and sweet, and I think I've done the sweet. Maybe it's not as short as it should be. I am going to ask somebody who has control in this building to lower the temperature. We got people burning up in here, all right? Okay, thank you very much. I'm a handler. All right.
Elisa, I want to profess, I love you. Sharon, is that okay? Okay, all right. The next part of the program today is a recognition of unsung heroes within the athletic department, and to make special presentations, it's my privilege to introduce our son, Landon Bibb.
Good morning to everybody. Start off by saying congratulations to this year's Hall of Fame inductees. And I would also like to introduce the members of the Bibb family that could be here today. I'd like to start off with my wife, Megan. She loves it when I point her out. Our daughter, Emma Lou, my mom, Sharon, and my dad, Jeff. Well, how did this scholarship come about? Before this scholarship was established in 2000, my family, along with Sherwin and Norma Cliff, came together to start an endowment in the name of my grandfather, Dr. Leon Bibb. They were able to identify a need in the athletic department for graduate assistants that were not being funded for the summer semesters. Even though we were only able to partially contribute to the cost of a student's financial obligation for the summer, our goal is to eventually award a full scholarship or more for GA or GAs for the entire summer tuition. Well, who were my grandparents, Leon and Margaret Bibb? There are some of you here that knew my grandparents, but there are many of you who never got the opportunity to meet them. Leon was hired to chair the Industrial Arts Department here at Austin Peay in 1952, where he would be here for 28 years. He served as supervisor, which included construction oversight for capital projects such as the Wilbur Library, the Traherne Building, Claxton Building, and the Winfield Dunn Center. During this time, he also served as the faculty chairman to athletics for 23 of those years. Leon was very instrumental in Austin Peay's move into Division I athletics. Because of this, he was inducted into the APSU Athletics Hall of Fame in 1984 and into the OVC Hall of Fame in 1999. My grandmother, Margaret, even though behind the scenes, was always there by my grandfather's side. Their lives literally revolved around a few but very important things: family, friends, church, traveling, and Austin Peay. They were both very devoted fans of Governor's Athletics, and were also involved in many other university-related alumni, academic, and social activities and organizations. As you can tell, the Bibb family has been bred to bleed Governor red and white from the beginning. Leon and Margaret were the kind of people that would take a true interest in people from all walks of life. It didn't matter your race, your social, economic, or religious backgrounds. They would generally take anyone into their home, and once you were there, you were our family. I know they would be extremely proud to know what this scholarship has become and what it has been able to help 25 outstanding individuals. Since the inception of the Dr. Leon Bibb Scholarship in 2000, we have been able to award right at $40,000 in total scholarship aid to graduate assistants in the athletic department. You know, when we were going through the processes of trying to select an award winner for this year, we were faced with the tough decision of picking from very qualified and deserving applicants. All of the applicants submitted a letter along with a resume and a recommendation letter from their respective superior. This year's recipients, Trace Huggins with men's basketball and Peyton Phillips with strength and conditioning, will receive $2,000 apiece for the spring-summer semester. We're looking forward to seeing what these two young men have in store, not only for their future, but what they will do with their time here at Austin Peay. On behalf of the entire Bibb family, it is my honor to award the 2018 Dr. Leon and Margaret Bibb Hall of Fame Endowment to the 24th and 25th recipients, Trace Huggins and Peyton Phillips. They'll also have your names. Well, where did it go? I think the plaque is being, with your names being inscribed, it normally hangs right up here in the front, so y'all's names will be on there.
I'll pose for a photo. And we're very proud of the job that you did representing our family and presenting these awards each year. And these gentlemen are so deserving. They do so much to support the athletic program. So congratulations, gentlemen. We are getting ready to move into the heart of our program. On each of the inductees, we will start with a video that will give some highlights about their lives, particularly their careers at Austin Peay. Then each one of them will be introduced, and then you will hear from the two recipients and also from Mr. Swope's daughter. So we'll start with the first video. And this will be, we'll hold the applause until we officially recognize our inductee. So turn your attention to the monitors, please.
From the moment he arrived on campus, you could tell that he was pretty unique. He was very consistent, and some golfers will struggle a little bit coming out of high school and playing college golf because you're playing a lot of different courses. A lot of times yards of the course is much longer. He didn't seem to struggle at all. And OVC Freshman of the Year, of course, OVC Player of the Year, All Conference all 4 times. You knew immediately that Coach Caton had assigned a future Hall of Famer. He was part of that 2009 OVC Championship team, and that was a very memorable tournament because Austin Peay, at one point in the second round, down 9 strokes. They rally in the back 9 to win it by 1 stroke over Murray State. And that's what you got from Eric. He was always around par. I mean, he was a competitor. He had a drive that's now got him, on the web.com tour. One of 6 at the time to be OVC Golfer of the Year from Austin Peay. He joins a long, distinguished list of great golfers that have come through. He's part of that history of bringing OVC championships to Austin Peay. And again, I think it's his drive and his consistency. I am very happy for him. Congratulations, Eric. Well deserved, and just another mark on Austin Peay's traditional Austin Peay golf program.
We will be inducting numbers 119, 120, and 121 into the Austin Peay Athletics Hall of Fame this morning. Obviously, you see the plaques here. There happens to be 3 that have craft paper on them, but I think we'll be uncovering those. But to make the introduction of our first inductee this morning, I would like to present Kirk Caden, former APSU head golf coach.
Good morning. I'm Kirk Caden, former golf coach at Austin Peay State University. I coached Eric Barnes in the Eric Barnes era of Austin Peay golf from 2007 to 2010. Want to congratulate Eric on entering the Austin Peay Hall of Fame today. It's a special day. It's a great day. Want to congratulate his family and his friends that are in attendance there in Clarksville, Tennessee today. I wish I could be there, but congratulations again to him and his family. Wanted to tell you a couple stories about Eric today, and just to add to his greatness there at Austin Peay and now on the web.com tour. We recruited Eric from Marion, Indiana. I was able to go watch him play up in Marion. His mom had sent me a resume of him early in his junior year, and was able to go up there and watch him in Muncie, Indiana at the state regional high school championship there. And 3 things drew me to Eric real quickly: was his competitiveness, his drive and desire, and his length off the tee was amazing. So he was a very coachable guy. So a week or 2 later, he came to Austin Peay for a visit, and he told me he wanted to play the PGA Tour. It was his biggest dream, and a lot of 18-year-old, 19-year-olds tell me that, but Eric is on the cusp of making the PGA Tour now, and he treated his 4-year career like he was going to play professional golf someday, and I really appreciate that, and it brought everybody else up around him. So just wanted to go into a couple of highlights of Eric's career here. He was 3-time all-conference player, first-team all-conference his junior and senior year. His freshman year, he started for us, which we had a very good team that year, and to be a starter as a freshman was phenomenal, and he made second-team all-conference that year. 2009, he was OVC Golfer of the Year, along with helping us win a conference championship in 2009. We weren't the favorite that year. He brought everybody else up around him, made them more competitive, made them more have enthusiasm about golf, and I think that was a big part in helping us win a championship that year, and bringing it back to Clarksville in 2009, and we beat Murray by 1 shot. So that was a huge bonus to that as well. Couple other things with Eric is he shot 199 at the Austin Peay F&M Bank Intercollegiate in his career, which is one of the greatest scores in 54-hole history, and that's going to be hard to beat. What a phenomenal score by Eric, and that record will live for a long time, I feel like. And just a couple other things with Eric. He was not only a great golfer, but he had a great GPA, good student athlete, and graduated with a business degree. And I'm proud of him for his leadership skills when he was at Austin Peay, and for his academic work, not only as a golfer, but he was a great academic student as well. So want to thank Eric for letting me do this, and I want to congratulate the family again, his mom and dad, his young family. What a great group of people. Just want to say to Eric, enjoy the day at Austin Peay. It's a special day to be inducted into the Hall of Fame there, and I want to congratulate the other inductees today, and hope everyone has a wonderful day there in Clarksville. Thank you.
We appreciate Coach Caden participating via video in the presentation this morning. So before we present your official award, Eric, we assume you're prepared to make a few comments. So I would like to present to you Eric Barnes.
Hello, everyone. I am going to do this fairly informal, and I told Tara this is going to be short, sweet, just like my wedding day. I promise you. First of all, everybody's seen it, but I was born in Michigan, believe it or not. I was raised in Marion, Indiana. My father took a job there and moved us. I never even knew what golf was, and he moved us to a place in Marion, small town that was a mile from a golf course. We used to pass it all the time. Wonder if we were going to ever play golf. One day, brought some clubs home for myself and my 2 brothers, and we just took to it. But it was very, I was very lucky to move to Indiana, because had I not, I may have never picked up the game, and I wouldn't be standing here in front of all of you today. So I do want to say thank you very much for inducting me into this Hall of Fame. It's something I've always dreamt about, to be standing in front of all of you and these other great inductees here. It's a really special honor, and it's really made my year. So thank you. Also, I couldn't have done this without friends, family, coaches, the university. It takes more than one person to have a successful career, and luckily mine's still going. And hopefully I haven't even seen the best of it yet. But it's been exciting this far, and it was great to start here. I want to thank my parents. My parents, when I was a kid, they gave up a lot for me to be able to travel around the state of Indiana and play junior golf. My dad was always working. My mom was always taking care of myself and my two brothers, and that takes a lot. I mean, I have a small one right here that, like I said, I'm going to try to keep it somewhat sweet, because my 4-year-old's over here making forts with all the flyers and plastic silverware. So I'm going to try to keep this going. But my wife, she couldn't be here today. My sister-in-law is actually getting married today. So my wife and my 7-week-old could not make it here, but I'm sure they're going to love to see the video. I would like to thank my coach. Obviously, you guys just heard from him, Kirk Caden. He believed in me. One thing he did leave out was that the first time he ever come see me play golf in Muncie, I hit 2 balls literally this far from the out of bounds. That probably was the difference in me making it to state or not. So he took a chance on me anyway, and luckily it paid off a little bit for me and the university. I'd like to name a couple of the teammates that were really influential in me making it to this point. Grant Lever, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame here a couple years ago. He plays in the Web.com tour as well. And I thought he might be here, but it's not Grant Lever. Yoshio Yamamoto, roommate of mine, all these guys were older. They all pushed me to move, to try harder and to try to be as successful as they were. Justin Metzger, Chris Barron, just to name a few. And also the university. I mean, to be able to come here and feel so welcomed. I came in and I was the only freshman of a team of about 9 guys. It was pretty much like 4 seniors, 4 juniors, and me. And at first it was a little bit overwhelming, and I was very lucky. I felt embraced from the beginning, and it was a great experience here. I had a lot of really exciting memories here. Some of you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I won't get into too much detail, but obviously us winning conference in 08-09 was the highlight, and beating Murray, right? That was the best part about all that, beating Murray. Basketball, winning the OVC championship while I was here. That was so exciting. I was at all those games, went to every one. It was amazing. It's just a heck of an experience. The golf team, I don't know if from all of you remember, were the Red Men. I don't know if they still have the Red Men, but they should. And if not, someone needs to go meet the golf team and talk them into painting in red again.
Can you come back and give some instructions?
Yeah, I wasn't as outgoing as some of the other guys. I only painted up a couple times, but it was great to have be part of the golf team and always be known as the Red Men. Football tailgates, watching this men run back kicks all 4 years was pretty exciting. The tailgates were a lot of fun. We went to every tailgate that was at home, and it was just an exciting experience in my career here at Austin Peay. My favorite was the 6 a.m. runs Coach used to make us do over here at the football stadium, where I always finished last. But I always made it in under the time that we had to have, so I was always going to make sure the team didn't have to run more laps. Just in conclusion here, you guys, as well as the university, coaching, friends, family, you guys taught me a lot about growing up, about how valuable life lessons that I still use today, because I had never been in planes and traveled and played 4 days in golf tournaments and missed school and had to make it up with professors, and that taught me a lot here. And now that I'm doing it as a career, and it's my life 6 weeks a year, it was great to be part of such an amazing group of individuals. My team, they were phenomenal all 4 years, and allowing me to be inducted into this great group of people is phenomenal. I want to thank you guys very much, and let's go Peay.
Pick up here.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Sure thing. Eric, congratulations. If you'll notice, the shroud has been removed on the wall over here, so your shining face is now on the Hall of Fame wall. But again, on behalf of Austin Peay State University, congratulations. You are so deserving of this induction. If you'll turn your attention to the monitors for I guess I should have said tee up for you, but for the setup for our next inductee.
Okay, great story about Terrence, as well as connecting myself with him. Is before I even came to Austin Peay, I knew Terrence, played against him in high school, and so going through my recruitment process, it was something I really weighed out. And knowing him and knowing the kind of player he was and the kind of work he put in, it kind of inspired me and sparked my decision to come to Austin Peay.
He was a big-time player in high school, all-state player, rushed for a lot of yards, and he was very unique. Well, here at Austin Peay, we knew he was very special, you know, when he got here, and our players had very difficulty tackling him in practice and making plays.
Anytime Terrence could touch the football, big play could happen, and most likely did happen. That's the reason why he's going to the Hall of Fame.
You know, his first touch in a real football game was a kickoff versus Tennessee State. His first carry as an Austin Peay Governor was a kickoff return for a touchdown, and that's kind of when we knew that was the very beginning of what he would do for us here.
It held a special place in my heart, our bond, and who we are to this day. As a person I'm honored to call a brother, a friend, and just a great guy all around.
But when it came to Saturdays, you know, Terrence was, you know, he had an innate ability to be able to turn the light switch on. You know, I still remember, even one of the biggest memories I have of Terrence is all the way in our freshman year at Murray State, when he took an 85-yard kickoff return back late in the fourth and basically secured the win for us. I mean, without that, we wouldn't have won that game.
Terrence, I'm happy for you. I'm not proud of you. I'm proud for you. I saw your hard work, and I appreciate everything you've done. You were a great player to coach.
Terrence, AKA John Baker, the playmaker, my dog, my man, my brother. Just want to say I'm proud of you, and I could say that everyone around us probably saw this coming from years after we were done playing, but this won't compare to the things you're going to continue to achieve in life, man.
So to introduce our next inductee, I'd like to introduce to you Orlando Spivey.
Good morning. I met Terrence in 2007 in Killebrew Hall. I was his official visit host. When I first saw him, I thought, how is this little guy going to be able to play college football? He's going to get killed. I remember showing him the running back steps to inside zone, open crossover downhill, but I never thought he would come here to Austin Peay. Oh, was I wrong? Once Terrence had arrived to Austin Peay for camp, I was shocked that he had come, but when he had begun camp, he wasted no time showing the coaching staff and the team that we had something special and unique. He was arguably the fastest player I think I've ever seen. Once he earned a position as our return specialist, it was only a matter of days before Terrence would begin to write his chapter in Austin Peay history. Against Belton in 2007, he received a kickoff, 75-yard. He was celebrating his first mini collegiate touchdown. He was the type of athlete that everyone held their breath because you never knew what was going to happen. Was he going to take it up the middle, or was he going to cut across the field for a touchdown? You just never knew. And we grew closer in the locker room as well as our running back meeting, as we would sometimes get in trouble for laughing and talking while Coach Robert was going over the game plan. We ended up becoming roommates in University Landing, and in the midst to join our beloved fraternity, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. It was an unforgettable experience. Terrence is a well-goal-oriented person who sets goals and will do anything to accomplish them. I bear witness. It is an honor to not only have Terrence as a friend and teammate, but also as a brother. To this day, he and I still talk and visit on a regular basis. I without a doubt feel he earned and deserved this prestige award. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I introduce to you my friend, my brother, Mr. Terrence Hope.
Good morning, everybody. First, I would like to thank God for giving me the ability to play football. I would like to thank my mom for the many sacrifices she made for me to make this dream come true. As her only boy, I know it was hard to send me into this world without you right by my side. However, my mom made it. I would also like to thank my sisters for pushing me, lifting me up when I was down, and just being friends when I needed them. I would also like to thank the remainder of my family for just being you and supporting me. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would like to thank my coaches for developing my talent and preparing me for the collegiate level. I would most definitely like to thank Austin Peay for giving me the opportunity to further my education and continue to play the sport I fell in love with as a kid, football. I would also like to thank you for believing in me. I would like to say I was born into football. My mom, she was a head cheerleading coach for my older sister when I was growing up. The first time I actually touched the football field was when my older sister was cheering and my mom was coaching. I ran onto the field and the announcer guy said, "Hey, who baby is that on the field?" So I know my mom, she was probably embarrassed, but me growing up, I had plenty of opportunities to make it up to her. From that time, that's when I developed the name Running Man. My sisters also played a major role in developing my football skills. As much as I wouldn't like to say it, my older sister actually taught me how to catch the football. But my little sister also played a major, major role. Every weekend, I would line my sister up in my pads because I was the only boy in the household, and I just tackle her with all my pads on. I mean, the reason why I chose my little sister is because my big sister, she most definitely wouldn't put my stuff on me, and she was probably tougher than me then. But growing up playing football wasn't easy for me. It wasn't because of my talent, it was because of my stature and size. My coaches were scared that I might get hurt. I was always the smallest player on the field. But I remember Mama telling me stories about she telling my coaches she paid her money for me to play football, so let me run the ball. So a couple games later, the coach gave me the ball, and I made a couple touchdowns. Then my coaches would start betting. So one of my coaches came to me and was like, "Hey, Running Man, if you make 6 touchdowns, I'll take you to Disney World." So the next game, I made 5 touchdowns, then took me out the game. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I made all those touchdowns just to go to Disney World. But for me, it was because I love the game of football. And at that time, I could be so relieved. And for being in a house full of girls, it was just like a stress reliever. And at that young of an age, something to just be to myself. But as I got older, more people in the city kind of figured out my name and who I was. They would come to my middle school games and watch me play football. My middle school coach is here also. Middle school is where I started to become a student of the game. I would try to learn every position on the field because growing up, Mama always told me there's only one quarterback on the field, and I had to learn at that time if I wanted to stay on the field, then I would have to probably play multiple positions. When I got to high school, all I was thinking about was the NFL, trying to make it to the league. So that was some of the times of my life that I had to get together. And one of my friends, I'm about to tell a story, Daryl Holmes, he played on this team with this story I'm about to happen. So when I was a freshman, typically freshmen don't play varsity with my stature anyway. So I was one of those guys that didn't matter where I played at on the football field. But I started my freshman year kind of early. I played just kickoff and kickoff return. After making a couple of plays, coaches was trying to figure out, just like Austin Peay, where I'm going to do with this guy, where I'm going to put him. So as a freshman, I was the punter. So as a freshman, I was the punter. So one particular 4th down, my first time being a punter, I got the punt blocked. So I didn't get discouraged. It was against Stratford High School, one of our biggest rivals in the city. So I just went back to the sideline, was like, I'm going to fix this situation because obviously I never punted before, and they was a pretty good team. I think they went to state that year. But the next fourth down, it was 4th and 15, so I was like telling myself, I'm most definitely not going to punt this ball. So at that point, the long snapper snapped me the ball, and I made the first down. So everybody was excited on the team and probably put Stratford in a bind, like, what are we going to do with this guy? So little did I know that would give me more playing time as a freshman. After that, I know my high school coaches was probably in a bind because I was so good on offense and good on defense. So my sophomore year, they probably spent the whole year deciding on which side of the ball that I was going to play on. So after my junior year, the start of my junior year, they finally got it right and just put me strictly on offense. That's kind of when my story began. That year, I broke the TSSAA football single game rushing record with a game of 382 yards, and that's when I got one of my many nicknames as Mr. 382. That following year was my senior year, probably the most important because I had to stay healthy, and if I wanted to go to the NFL, couldn't afford an injury. But I followed up that year by breaking the record again by rushing for 365 yards, and it was the fourth quarter. I didn't even play the fourth quarter. My coaches was saying, I'm going to take you out of the game to prepare you for college, but at that time, I wasn't thinking about college. I figured I was just going to go straight to the NFL. But my recruiting process was kind of odd and frustrating. The reason why is because although I had some of the best stats in Tennessee, I didn't get recruited that much. Some schools actually called me and said I was too small, and some schools actually said they didn't sign me because they thought I'd already be signed. But I can remember I went on my visit here at Austin Peay in late January. I can't remember the date, but it was probably a week before signing day. One of the guys who was my host was Orlando Spivey. And as we all know, O to B, as wild as O, he cared very much about the recruits. He made sure we had plenty of drink, plenty of eat. But he made sure that we was well taken care of. The next day, all I could remember was the coaches in my face saying, hey, how did you like it? Are you going to sign? And just asking me questions. I was kind of shy then, and I'm still kind of shy now. So back then, I already knew in my head that I was going to sign here. I just didn't have the courage to tell them then. But as I reported to Austin Peay in the summer, Coach Rob came to me, and when we was walking to the running back meeting, he was like, hey, T-Ho, you're a wide receiver now. I was so heartbroken, I didn't even want to play anymore. I was just trying to figure out, like, I used to come up here every day in the summertime. I didn't even have to be up here. Why wouldn't he tell me that I was a wide receiver then? So that kind of put a chip on my shoulder and probably was the best thing for me. So I was determined to show that my teammates and the coaches that I was a running back. So all summer, I would consider it grinding and doing what I had to do to earn a position. At that point, I earned the position as the punt returner and kick returner because for me, redshirting was not an option my freshman year. But your unique story about me is everybody done told, and I guess the story here for me at Austin Peay. The first time I went on the field, it was actually a punt, but the punt went out of bounds. So it was actually the second time that I went on to the field. The punter kicked me the ball, and I ran the punt back. Me playing football, I didn't know no better. All I knew was get the ball in the end zone. So the first time I touched the ball as a collegiate athlete, I scored a touchdown. And my freshman year was kind of a unique year because that third game of the season, I also returned a punt against one of the better teams in our conference that year, which was Tennessee State, which had Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie on the team. Who's still now in the NFL. So with that punt return that I made against them, set us up for victory at the end, but Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie blocked the punt. But the last game of the season was against Murray State, and we know our biggest rival is probably Murray State. So it was the fourth quarter, and everybody thinking the same thing. Don't kick T. Holt the ball. So some guys are knuckleheads. So they kicked me the ball. It was I caught it, and it was the fourth quarter. I ran it back for an 85-yard touchdown to seal up the victory for that year. So the first time I touched the ball as a collegiate athlete, and the last time I touched the ball my freshman year, I scored a touchdown. With that being said, I would like to thank Austin Peay for giving me the opportunity to play the game that I love. I would like to thank my teammates, and I wish there was more that I can do for my teammates because I couldn't have done it without them. And this reward that I'm receiving is not just for me, but for the teammates to help me get this award. I'd like to thank my family for being my biggest supporters, my friends for always making sure I was straight, my fraternity brothers for keeping me in line, keeping my head on the good path. So I'd like to thank Austin Peay for giving me the opportunity, and this is yet one of my biggest honors, and thank you. Let's go, Peay.
Before we officially induct you, are there any family members that you would like to recognize? Or friends?
Well, I have my mom, my sisters, I have my grandmother, my auntie, my whole family basically. I have my coworkers here, people from my old job, and I appreciate everybody for coming to support me. I got a couple of my classmates here, friends, fraternity brothers, my brother. I don't have any blood brothers, but he's the closest thing that I'm going to get to a brother. Also, Miles, it's a unique story. We played against each other in high school, and I'm always keeping up, and I still always keep up with guys that we're going to sign at Austin Peay. I seen Amaya's name on there as him being from Clarksville. We was up here in the summertime, like, go ahead and start working out with us as I did when I was incoming freshman, and he was a big asset in our team as he played. He was one of our starters, and we became best friends. So pretty much everybody that knows me, Orlando knows Amias, we all stick together, and our friend Terry is here. So I appreciate everybody coming out.
So Terrence Holt, we welcome you into the Austin Peay Athletics Hall of Fame. Before we do our next video, Eric, I forgot to ask if you mentioned a couple of people, but is there anyone you would like to introduce?
I'm pretty sure you guys saw them already. My parents, Don and Donna, I got a big crowd here. My 4-year-old Jackson, my wife's name's Ashley. I know Brad Kirtley, he knows my wife. I have a brand new 7-week-old baby named Tucker. They're at the wedding, so what are you gonna do?
Austin Peay football player. Who's this young man right here? Right? Yes, next to the red.
Oh, that's my nephew Desmond. He actually plays every sport in the world.
So think about Austin Peay, Desmond. Right?
So Desmond's going to be at Austin Peay one of these days. Okay, perfect. Well, the reason, and I'm sorry I overlooked the family part, this is very much a family and friends event because you want to enjoy it together with those who you nurtured, who you sacrificed for, who you spent your time with. And that is not only meaningful for you, believe me, it's meaningful for everyone in this room to have the opportunity to meet you, to see your reactions, to hear from those who you brought along. And it's very fulfilling to hear young men and women give their acceptance speeches because they're almost always strictly from the heart. And that's a very, very moving part of this whole experience. So I'm going to do a little privilege, just take the privilege. I think a couple of here comes basically a non-blood brother, Larry Schmidt, on cue. Okay. Larry's on the selection committee. And my business partner, Frank Lott, married him in August of 1978. January, I married Sharon in August of 1978. So it's been a weird three-way marriage. But for them to be here supporting too means an awful lot. The honors category was established several years ago as a way to look back in time to those who were primarily athletes. It could be other contributors to the athletic program. You know, the reality is it's very hard to measure accomplishments of folks who may have played ball here in the 40s or 50s against those who are playing today. It's a whole different field or court, so to speak. So it had been a vision to establish an honors category for some time. But a man named Blakey Bradley, who had played basketball here, stepped up and took the leadership of the honors category. Blakey Bradley has written 2 books about Austin Peay athletic history. The Governors in the Little Red Barn was the first book, and the second was a complete history, year by year, of Austin Peay football. Himself an athlete, himself a Clarksvillian. I remember watching Blakey playing basketball as a Governor. I remember him coaching me football at Greenwood Junior High School, which isn't as good a memory. No, actually, he was a great teacher. But Blakey, I just, please stand. And if there's any other members of your selection committee, please stand. So again, thank you, Blakey, for all that you have done to advance the honors category, and I think it's arguably been a huge success for the Hall of Fame. So we'll follow suit and go to the video before we do our next introduction.
In an era defined by versatility, Bob Swope was the original Governor Ironman. During his heyday, the Nashville, Tennessee native starred on the diamond, the hardwood, the gridiron, and the links for the Governors. Bob won the 1950 Volunteer State Athletic Conference Golf Championship as an individual, helping Austin Peay take the team title. As a member of the men's basketball team, Swope was a 2-time all-tournament performer, finishing 3rd on the team in scoring for the 1949-1950 season, and earning 2 Volunteer State Athletic Conference titles on the court. And Swope's legend was cemented on the football field, where he scored the first 3 times he touched the football in 1949, the first 3 carries of his Austin Peay career. He would become the starting halfback a year later and lead the team in touchdowns.
So it's my pleasure to introduce, and I assume that there's going to be some comments from Bob Swope's daughter, Elizabeth.
All right, hello, just wanted to say on the behalf of the Swopes, the extended family, I'd like to thank Austin Peay University Hall of Fame for this recognition for my father. He's always been a mythic figure in my life, and it's been amazing to be here today and meet people that knew him and played with him, and the support that Austin Peay offered him as far as teammates and mentors. Basically, this honor will ensure that the legend of Bob Swope lives on, and being part of the Hall of Fame will ensure his legacy will hopefully provide inspiration to other athletes. So that's all I have to say.
So Elizabeth, it's a great honor that the Austin Peay Athletics Hall of Fame induct Bob Swope. Thank you so much. Now on the wall. Our recipients will be recognized at the halftime of the men's basketball game tonight. We have 2 games tonight, as a reminder. The women play Jacksonville State at 4:30, both very important games. The men's game will start at approximately 7:30. So we hope that you'll choose to attend. I got a little tickled when Elisa, just to myself, when Elisa was talking about football fields and athletic courts, and the different kinds of fields of play, and I looked out the window, and sand relates to golf, but now it relates to something else. You may not be aware we now have sand volleyball, so that's what you see located in the front of the Dunn Center, another women's sport at Austin Peay. I will now introduce the Director of Athletics, Ryan Ivey. He is a busy, busy man, and I think the time will tell his success, but from a fan standpoint and those associated with the program, he immediately has some challenges. Retirement of longtime head basketball coach Dave Luce fit in there. Of course, Dave's legacy speaks for itself. We had a change at the helm in football and other sports as well, and Ryan has come to the table with boundless energy, and we're very fortunate to have his leadership in the athletic department. So it's my pleasure to take us home, Ryan Ivey, Athletic Director.
Well, good morning, and what a great day it is to be a Gov. It's always a great day, but today is extra special because of the opportunity that we have to celebrate great student athletes who have done great things. I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity on behalf of punters everywhere to go ahead and welcome Terrence Holt into the punter family. I did not realize you were a punter before today, so we're especially honored to induct you into the punter family, okay? There's a long lineage of great athletes in the punter family. I am not one of them, okay? But we're glad to have Terrence in that family as well. I also would like to take a moment to thank Eric because typically when I play golf, most of the times I'm close to that out of bounds marker. So it's good to know that people on the web.com tour and successful golf professionals have those opportunities as well. So I always feel like I'm the last one out there when you're hitting balls out of bounds, but it's great to know that Eric's had that challenge as well. So it's always good to be a part of it. You've heard some really great comments today, and certainly my tenure here at Austin Peay, this is my third year. I've had the opportunity to meet some great student athletes that we've had here, some great people in and around our athletics department, and obviously today is no exception. The one thing that I think you heard the most is things that we talk about on a regular basis here at Austin Peay is opportunity. Okay, you heard the opportunity for Eric to be here. You heard about the opportunity for Terrence to be here. You heard about the opportunity for Mr. Swope to be here as well. And that's what we do at Austin Peay. And that's what we do from an athletic standpoint as well, is we provide opportunity to make a difference in the lives of young people. And at the core of what we do, that's it in a nutshell. We take the opportunity that we have, we help to mold, shape, and guide and direct the lives of young people so that they can become productive people of society. Now, I tell our student athletes all the time, I hope that they have the opportunity to play professionally. I think it's awesome that you can go play a game and get paid to do it. That is phenomenal in itself. I mean, think about that for a moment. That every one of us growing up as a kid playing ball in the backyard or hitting a golf ball, whatever it may be, dreamed of being somebody. I dreamed of being like Mike, okay? I wanted to be Michael Jordan. That's who I wanted to be, right? I think everybody wanted to do that. And at the end of the day, less than 5% of all high school student athletes get to participate at the college level. Okay, think about that for a moment. Less than 5% of all high school student athletes get to participate in college athletics. Less than 1% of college athletes participate at the professional level. So it is incumbent upon us and it is imperative upon us that we help them earn their degree, that we help them become great people, that we help them become productive people of society, because that is what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. That they may have the opportunity to play professionally, but it may only be 3, 4, 5 years. Hopefully for some of them, it's a long time, and those student athletes get to make a lot of money and they give it back to us, right? That's the goal in it all. But at the end of the day, the ball stops bouncing. Okay, they at the end of the day, you don't have the opportunity to play forever, and so it's the life lessons that they learn while they're a student athlete here that helps carry them forward, and that's what we're proud of. That's what we do on a regular basis, and I can tell you right now that we wouldn't be where we are without these individuals that have come here today. We wouldn't be where we are without the people who've come before us. You think about Coach Luce, you think about Bruce Myers over there, I think about Brad Kirtley, I think about the people that have been in around this department for a very long time. And I have the privilege and the honor every day to carry on that legacy. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we're going to try to do every day when we preach, when we talk about being a Gov and being a champion and what that means. Okay, it's not just about winning competitions. Okay, it's about embodying a spirit, okay, that talks about being a well-rounded individual, about being a Gov, and about that Gov being a champion every day in life. And we talk about our visions and our values and our standards of behavior. Those are the things that we live every day, because I am more than confident that if we do those things on a regular basis, that the winning will come. That winning at the end of the day is a result of the things that you do on a daily basis. It doesn't define you. It doesn't make you a good player. It doesn't make you a good team. It doesn't make you a bad team. It doesn't make you a bad player, good person or bad person. It is a result. And if we do the things that we're capable of doing on a daily basis, day in and day out, then the results will come. And the results of that will be winning competitions. But more importantly, it'll be about winning life. You know, it'll be about taking the opportunity to help these young people become productive people of society, so that when they're out there doing great things, that we can all point to them and say, they're a governor. And that is what's really special about this institution. That's what's really special about what we do on a daily basis. So on behalf of the Austin Peay Athletics Department, congratulations. Certainly proud of you guys, everything that you've done, everything that you're going to do. We certainly want to welcome you guys back. You're welcome to campus anytime, and it is certainly a great day to be a Gov. And we appreciate every one of you for being here today. And like I said, we love to invite you back to the basketball games tonight. Come be a part of that. Both teams are playing exceptionally well right now, so we're proud of everything that they're doing. But it's a great day to be a Gov. It'll always be a great day to be a Gov, and we certainly appreciate everyone very much. So thank you so much.
So we'll close out. We have several previous Hall of Fame inductees in the room with us today, which is also an honor anytime to have those opportunities. So anyone who's been inducted into this Hall of Fame, please stand to be recognized. Larry Schmidt and I were kids who grew up as part of the Austin Peay family. Our parents, our dads were both on the faculty here, so we've been Austin Peay brats who grew up to still be Austin Peay brats. But one of the most fulfilling things to me in being associated with Austin Peay are when people come back and they see the changes, but they celebrate the time that they had here on this campus. It is a wonderful feeling. And if you haven't been back before today in a while, we invite you to come back again and again and again and enjoy being a Gov. And let's go Peay. Thank you.